We are grateful for this opportunity to create this video filmed on Treaty 6 territory, which is the traditional meeting ground and home for many Indigenous people, including Cree, Saulteaux, Blackfoot, Métis, and Nakota Sioux.
Show your offering to our ancestors, sit in the 4 directions, and to the earth. For us, traditionally, our New Year is in the springtime. And the harbinger of that first sign of spring, the singing of the frogs. The frogs sing to the eggs to encourage them to hatch, to encourage them to come to life. And then they're singing to them and saying, a new life has begun. It's time for you to come and be a part of this new life. And over here, I see some wild mint over here.
Wait, really? This stuff, right?
Yeah. So, like, how awesome is this, Brody?
Yep, it's mint.
This project began as an idea to show different women's connection to the land. Indigenous elders, scientists, and farmers came together to share with each other. The elders wanted to ensure their involvement was going to make a difference. To start this project in a good way, Danny, the scientist, asked for Indigenous knowledge with an offering of tobacco. A tobacco offering is a protocol when asking for knowledge from many Cree, First Nations, and Métis elders.
Hi, Ginaskumtum. I'm grateful to you for the offering. Tobacco is our sacred bond.
Elder Heather explains the importance of working together.
I'm always praying for that. People open up their hearts and minds to a new way of thinking and doing. That's what I'm looking forward to, that we're doing things in a different way. And having respect for the culture, having inclusion of the elders, that's what I'm really grateful for.
Danny's work in science research led her to Elder Heather and Cookham Kathy to seek knowledge. Danny and her team share their work and how it is connected to the land.
What we're trying to accomplish here at the Ecosystem Restoration Lab, either through oil sand extraction or seismic exploration, we're looking at how to reestablish forest in these disturbed landscape. To bring back what was there before, we have to test new ways of doing it. So part of being a scientist is really just to experiment new ways of doing things.
These scientists are passionate about learning from the land. Cookham Kathy explains why it's also important for young people to learn from the land.
Even though our children and grandchildren are city-born, we can still teach them the traditional ways of staying connected to the land. My grandchildren and my children, they could identify so many medicines. Just here alone, I've spotted 5-6 different medicines. The big one, Brody's favorite, is sage. It's right back there.
Sage is a really great plant. It's related to mint.
You present the offering to the Creator.
It also has a lot of medicinal properties. It's also what is used for most smudges.
We never take anything from our mother without offering.
It's also a great help if you're struggling to breathe. Okay, pick some sage of my own.
Okay.
I usually have an inhaler on me, but sometimes they're hard to access. So sage has helped me stop from going to the emergency.
Brody's health is improved through knowledge of the land and its medicines. To learn about other ways of living in connection to the land, we talked to Laura and her daughter Gwen about life on the farm.
A typical day starts with morning chores. Get up and about 45 minutes in the chicken barn, checking on everybody. And then horse chores. Then we come back in, have breakfast, and do some homeschooling, right?
Yep. Dad often leaves in the morning to either seed, sometimes he's out spraying or hauling or even combining.
Yep.
So he's gone most of the day.
I grew up actually in town, but I loved being out at the lake, in the forest. My dad is a forester, a retired forester, and my grandfather, he loved being outside, loved camping, was an outdoorsman. So I think I got a really strong love of the outdoors from them. And then when I started riding at the farm, I was so horse crazy, so horse crazy. I still have horses.
I was actually raised by my grandparents. So I spent a lot of time with my grandmother. She'd take me with her everywhere. The earliest memory that I have, I was probably about 3 years old, was the first time I was consciously aware of the taste, the texture, the smell, and even the color of a strawberry. Just a moment of total wonder. So Mother Earth, she nurtures us. When we're mothers, we nurture our children. We provide everything they need to make sure they grow up to be good, healthy human beings. That's what the earth does for us. That's why we call her our mother. A little ways over there is cranberries, high bush cranberries, Mosomina. And I can't wait till they're ripe, till I can come back and gather them.
I used to love spending time with my grandmother, my cookum. You know, she would pick different things and she taught me how to make choke cherry jam. One of our favorites was strawberry rhubarb pie. Just things like that. Simple life, simple living. So living in the city now, you know, I do my best to teach my kids, my granddaughter, all these things, the importance of life around us. The land, the air, the water, and then everything else with that.
I think as a scientist and also as a mother, I want to make sure that my kids and the future generation can enjoy the environment the same way I had the opportunity to enjoy when I was a kid.
It's important to bring back that land to the functioning ecosystem that it was beforehand, so that that land can be used for future generations through restoration and reclamation.
Reclamation is about bringing back the current state of the disturbed landscape. What trees were there before? What animals were there before? The traditional land use, who was using that land before, and what were they using it for, and what did they deem to be important to have when we return that piece of land back to the land users.
Reclamation has a different meaning for Indigenous people. Cookum Kathy explains.
Reclamation, reclaiming something is like, I once owned it. Well, we've never owned the land. We have always been a part of the land. So it's not reclaiming. It's giving back to our Mother Earth what we so disrespectfully stole from her.
Some people want to see the land untouched and not get used for anything. Some people, they see the land as an opportunity to make money. Farmers see the land as an opportunity to grow food. And we do have to be very aware, and it's a juggling act trying to create a balance between how do we grow food, how do we sustain ecosystems, how do we maintain biodiversity, but how do we also support industry? Because without using the land in any way, with keeping the land completely untouched, we won't have houses to live in or food to eat. And so we need to create that balance, and it is hard.
Sometimes when we speak our truth, it's hard for people to hear. They get uncomfortable. So it's teaching you that there's something you need to do to learn so you can get balanced again. And that's where we come in helping people to get to that better place for all colors of mankind.
I'm becoming more deeply aware of the connection people have with the land, and that's something that we don't think about as scientists. When you have that connection or build that relationship with the land, it's harder to walk away. When I started working with the elders, I realized that they are so respectful of the land, and it's so important for them that we don't leave that damage on the landscape and walk away. Part of that is taking on that onus and that responsibility to ensure that we're doing the best we can.
To learn to connect to the land, I'll be with my grandpa. He'll teach me about trees and stuff. My mom and I, we're working on a project with the trees, and sometimes I'm just discovering these things.
If you don't take care of the land that you're growing the crop on, it's not going to grow a crop the next year. And I know there's a stigma about farmers spraying their crops and over-fertilizing, but you know what? Farmers have been doing this for, like my husband's farm at least has been doing this for 140 years. You have to be able to take care of the land. And it's imperative that you take care of the land. And the kids see that. We have a huge responsibility, not only for the land that we farm, but the land surrounding the land that we farm. And that's why I have a restoration area that I'm trying to grow some trees on. I'm trying to reforest.
While Laura is trying to find new ways to reforest farmland, Indigenous people who have always lived here have their way of caring for the land.
Our ways of knowing and doing is just what we've done since the beginning of time. Keeping in mind the reaction, the effect you have on the things around you. Just like when you throw a stone in the water, those ripple effects. That's any choice and decision we make on our journey, in our path, in our life. And how can we learn from that? You know, despite all these things that are happening, I have faith in the Creator and in Mother Earth. They're doing their own cleansing. They're taking care of things in their own way.
There are a lot of things to consider to stay in balance with the land. It was important for this group of people to talk and learn more from each other. They came together for a circle to discuss what they've learned throughout this project.
We're people of the land, but we live our lives differently. So I guess the hope is that we all remember Kahiukiano Isinuak, that we're all for people of the four directions, and that we learn to respect each other. The earth will continue growing and reviving and healing.
Mm-hmm. What we're doing right now just doesn't feel like it's enough. How we proceed to do more land reclamation in this province is really talking to the elders and the community. I think that's the key things that I take away from this process is the kinship and the connection that we've built.
What we don't understand, we're not going to protect. but we all need to meet in a middle ground, and we need to understand each other. We need to understand where we're all coming from and where we're all headed.
So many people are learning a lot of this stuff for the first time, even our own people. You know, sometimes people say, oh, we lost our culture, but what the elders teach us, we never lost our culture. Mother Earth is always there.
When you look around you and you actually come outside and you put down your screen, you put down your book, it's just you and the trees. And I feel like it's giving you that knowledge just sitting there. Even like a tiny little sprig is showing you that, yes, the leaves are falling, yes, winter will come, but spring will always come and there will always be something that comes back up again.
The connection and sharing in the circle confirm that all people need to listen and learn from each other. These women and their families continue their friendship and their openness to learn, striving to live in balance with the land.
Stoking the fire. Everything underneath the snow is being prepared for the coming spring. It is critical for us as human beings to contribute to the healing of our mother the best that we possibly can. In the future, if we have expectations of the future generations to have as good a life here on this earth that we have had so far, we do have to heal the land. I want you all to know that connection, to live it,